All right. Coming up next, local author Katherine Pryor will be reading us her 2016 Growing Good Kids Book Award winner, Zora's Zucchini. This book is illustrated by Anna Raff and tells the playful story of a child who discovers the wonder of growing food and the joy of growing community. Now, if you're not familiar with Catherine herself, Catherine Pryor has been doing books to support nutrition and education now for some time. And if you're looking for a family friendly event that you can get into with your little ones, you can also go to the Newport Way Library in Bellevue during the pop up story walk through this Friday and check out the reading of her newest book, Bees Bees. Let's check out Catherine Pryor's Zora's Zucchini.
Hi friends, my name is Katherine Pryor and I write picture books. And today I wanted to share a book with you called Zora's Zucchini. It was published by Readers to Eaters. It was written by me, Katherine Pryor, and illustrated by Anna Raff. And before I begin the story, I wanted to just tell you a little bit about the inspiration behind it. So the summer that I wrote Zora's Zucchini, I had a very unusual problem. I had too much food. And I had so much food because I was growing so much food. That summer, I had a community garden plot that was the size of a basketball court. And so I could grow whatever I wanted. But it meant that I had a ton of fresh food that got ripe all at the same time. And it meant that I couldn't eat it fast enough. And think about what happens to fresh food if you don't eat it fast enough. What's the problem with that? It rots, doesn't it? It gets rotten. And I didn't want any of this delicious fresh food that I was growing in my garden to go to waste. Because did you know that in this country, almost half of the food we grow ends up in the garbage? Isn't that crazy? When I learned that, I knew I didn't want to be a part of that problem. I wanted to find people who would appreciate all my good fresh food. And one night, I had a dream about a little girl named Zora who had the exact same problem I did, but she had a much more creative solution for it. So I woke up and I sat on the front porch in my pajamas at 4 a.m. and I wrote the very first draft of Zora's Zucchini. It was only the third day of summer vacation, but Zora was already out of ideas. Zora rode her bike in large, lazy circles around the neighborhood, just like the day before that and the day before that. But when Zora rode by the hardware store, she noticed something new. A bunch of plants with fuzzy green leaves. Free zucchini, Zora read. Z, like me. So she loaded up her basket with zucchini plants and headed home. Look what I found, Zora announced. Zucchini. I'm going to plant these in our garden. Zora dug big holes so the roots had room to grow. She settled the plants snugly in the soil. Then she watered each one. That's going to be a lot of zucchini, said her father. We'll eat it, Zora promised. And as June warm turned to July hot, Zora tended her garden. She watered the plants when their leaves got droopy. She cheered every time she saw a new yellow-orange zucchini blossom. And then one morning, Zora spotted her very first zucchini. She snapped it off the vine with a quick twist and raced to show her family. Zora's family found a new way to cook zucchini every day. Her brother made bread. Her sister made soup. Her parents marinated and grated and barbecued. As Zora's garden grew, they ate zucchini for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. More? Zora offered. But by the first day of August, Zora's garden was a jungle of prickly, tickly, bushy, blossomy plants. And every single one of those plants was covered in zucchini. There was no way her family could eat it all. Zora peered into her neighbor's garden. It was full of tomatoes, but no zucchini. "Hi, Mrs. Thompson. Would you like to trade some tomatoes for some zucchini?" Zora asked. "Absolutely," Mrs. Thompson replied. So Zora swapped an armful of zucchini for an armful of tomatoes. But Zora's zucchini kept growing. "This is crazy," she said. So she loaded up her bike and gave every last one away. But the next day, Zora found even more zucchini. "Seriously," she said. Zora thought and she thought. She had an idea, but she knew she couldn't do it alone. Her brother painted the signs. Her parents printed the flyers. Zora and her sister posted them all over the neighborhood. And on Saturday, Zora's garden swap was open for business. And this sign says, "Take a veggie, leave a veggie." Or at least, please take some zucchini. Zora straightened her sign. She checked the time. The sun got hotter, Zora's feet got fidgetier, and she began to worry that her garden swap was a garden flop. Then Zora saw Mrs. Rivera carrying a big bowl of raspberries. She saw Mr. Peterson bringing potatoes. Neighbors stopped by with carrots, peppers, and green beans from their gardens. They shared plums, apricots, and cherries from their trees. People left whatever they had too much of and took whatever they wanted. And Zora traded and traded until all her zucchini was gone. Zora looked around at the busy, noisy jumble of munching, laughing, chatting neighbors. Her zucchini garden had brought so many people together. She was already plotting what to grow next summer. The end. And if you might be thinking about ways you could bring your family and your community together later this summer, you might want to start thinking about plants that you could either start in little pots or start in your garden right now, because this is a great time to start thinking about summer and what a wonderful time it's going to be in the garden. Thank you so much for reading Zora's Zucchini with me today. If you'd like to know more about it or any of my other books, please visit my website, katherinepryor.com. Thank you so much and happy gardening.